Hope you are doing phenomenal today. Uh, Let me just make sure that this is all set up. So today, uh, actually, while I'm getting this set up, go ahead and comment down below where you're from. I always love to see where people are from, just to see, all over the world. It's kind of cool. But what we're going to be talking about today is, does moderation actually work? I'm going to give you my opinions on it, and why maybe you've tried moderation in the past and it didn't work for you. But that's what we'll be talking about today. But before I get into that, I just wanted to remind people, for those who are applying for the June keto camp, okay, I want to make sure that you guys understand how to give proper answers. So I'm going to read one to you, and this isn't to call anybody out, but I want you to guess who's actually going to get a spot and who's not. Okay. Person number one on their application says, I have a family history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. I'm 48 years old, and so far my health is good, but I definitely want to stay healthy for my daughter. She just turned 13 and will need me around for a long time. Plus, I need to lose a significant amount of weight. And then the next question was, how long have you been dieting? She said, geez, basically since I was a teen, enjoyed life in my 30s and 40s. Now I need to fix those enjoyments. So that's one person, okay? The second person said, why do you want to lose weight? Says, lose weight. Says, how long have you been dieting? Long time. Who do you think's actually going to get into the camp, right? Person number one or person number two? So all that to say, if you're someone who submits stuff like person number two, that's why you've gotten multiple opportunities to fill out the application, because here's the thing. I want the best of the best, right? I want the people who are truly in it to win it, who truly want our help, because I am more than willing and happy to help you. But at the same time, if you are not willing to change, and if you're just claiming you want my help, but you're not willing to swim towards me and actually put in effort, I don't want to work with you. Okay. So just wanted to get that out of the way. But if you are new here, I wanted to introduce myself. I am Joe Harris. I am the owner and founder of Keto Lifestyle Diet. I've helped my clients lose over 15,000 pounds in just under 2 years. I'm a top NCI coach. I am #1 in results produced in NCI history out of 6,000 plus coaches worldwide. For those of you who don't know what NCI is, it's the Nutritional Coaching Institute. I am a husband and father. I have my wife, Ashley, and then I have 3 beautiful babies. I have Noah, who is 9 years, or actually 10 years old, turning 10 this month. Oh my gosh. I have Denver, who is a terrible 2. And then I have Gracie, who is about 3 months old. So now that we are best friends, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. Now I do have my notes over here because I want to make sure that I hit everything clearly and I don't forget things. But the reason this topic stemmed is because I saw a post the other day that talked about moderation and fitting smaller bags into, or buying the smaller bags of chips versus buying the bigger bags of chips, because then you won't binge on them. But I have a question for you. Have you ever eaten a small bag of chips and been like, oh, I'm good now? Right? I always bring this story up, but I remember a long time ago, I had a client. She's like, all I want is a bite of cheesecake and that's it. I'm like, okay, and there are those people out there who are good after one bite, but that's not most of us, right? That's certainly not me. And chances are it's certainly not you, or else we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? Because if you could do moderation really well, you probably wouldn't have crossed paths with me, right? Because that's how I am. I don't do moderation well. And here's the thing, is it's so much easier to just say no to the chips than it is to see how many you could fit into your macros, right? Not only that, but you've wasted over 100 calories now on something that isn't going to fill you up and is just going to leave you super hungry and not feeling satisfied afterwards, right? But here's the thing, is for some reason on the social medias these days, people will try to make you feel guilty for feeling guilty about eating those things. And what I mean by that is they'll say, oh, you can't have a small bags of chips. Well, that's just part of diet culture. You should be able to have anything you want in moderation. And if you don't, then that's part of diet culture. Really? Since when is eating real food now considered diet culture and eating fake food is considered normal? Since when? Because that's where society is today. And people will try to prey on you. They'll try to make you feel guilty for knowing that you're not supposed to be eating a bunch of chips every single day. Now, does that mean you have to go without them forever? Absolutely not. You need ways to build those in, but daily is only making it harder for you. Okay, because I know you because I was you. When I was 300 pounds, you try to tell me to fit in a small bag of chips in moderation. I'm going to have the whole bag of chips. If they're in the house and I have a busy and a super stressful day and I want to give into something, I'm going to go into and get multiple bags of chips. That's just the way that it is. Right. So I want to just let you know that it's not your fault. So if you're someone who doesn't do moderation well, it's not your fault. That's what you were told. Right. And the reason people tell you to do those things is because it's easier to sell. You try to tell somebody to eat whole foods, vegetables, protein, fats, like all that stuff. That's hard to sell, right? Because most people are like, oh man, that seems kind of hard. But when you say, oh yeah, you could have all the chips you want and all the whatever you want, well, it's easy to get your money. And that's just not what I do here, right? So telling someone that all they have to do is track their calories and get enough protein, which is like what's on the internets these days. When you tell someone that, you're just setting them up for failure. So if you've been told that, I want you to know that it's not your fault, right? Because you probably did that and you were super hungry all the time. You never felt satisfied and you were working your tail off only to see no results. And this is especially ineffective if you're just beginning your journey. You haven't built a solid foundation. You don't know the types of foods to eat yet. You don't know how to incorporate carbs without overdoing them. You don't know those things. And so you're set up for failure right from the jump. And that's not your fault. So that's what I wanted to bring to you today. Now, like I said earlier, does this mean you could never have those foods again? No. It just means that trying to fit them in daily and then wondering why you're always hungry or always having cravings or always wanting something sweet or always wanting something salty or all those different things, it's because of what you've been told. You've been told to have that in moderation, but it only makes you want it more. Like for me, I love cheesecake. There's no way, like that's my thing. Cheesecake and donuts are my thing. There's no way that I'm going to have a bite of a donut and be satisfied. There's no way that I'm going to have a bite of cheesecake and be satisfied. I measure my cheesecake in the amount of slices, right? But I also know how to fit that stuff in because I've been doing this long enough to know how our method works and long term, but you need that solid base first. Okay. So it's not your fault. Now, when you watch this video, or you could do it now if you're live. When you watch this video, I want you to comment below if you've ever been told that you can have whatever you want in moderation. Okay. So I want you to comment below. If you've been told, you just say, yes, I've been told that, or yet, whatever it is. Comment below if you've been told you can have whatever you want in moderation. Follow-up question. Then I want you to comment below if you actually tried that. So you were told that, but did you actually try that, right? Did you try to fit whatever you wanted in moderation? The next question is, if you knew how to keep that stuff off, right? So in other words, I want you to understand that it's not your fault. So if you've been told, hey, fit whatever you want in moderation, and then you tried that and it wasn't successful, well, now you know why. Because you're not the problem. The advice that you got was the problem. So if people knew how to fit in hyper palatable foods in moderation, we wouldn't be headed towards 50% obesity by the year 2023. And if I mean, I have to ask you, right? Another question is, if you're the type of person who says, well, I can do that in moderation, I have no problem fitting those things in, I can have a bite of something and be satisfied, then why are you here? Why are we sitting across from each other right now? Why are we having this conversation? Why are you in the group? Why? Because if that stuff worked for you, you wouldn't be here. Now, again, do you want to know how to fit those things in long term? Absolutely. But what I'm talking about is from the jump, when people say, oh, you could have just get enough protein, track your calories, try to have those things in around the house. That's like telling a drug addict to say, just have a little bit of drugs in moderation. Just a little taste here and there. Right? It just doesn't make sense. Or why would you even keep it in the house if you know that you're tempted to do it? So when you come home and you're trying to get over an addiction that you've had, and you come home and you've had a horrible day, your boss was crazy, your kids are running rampant, what do you think you're going to reach for? Something you've always done to feel that comfort. And then you're going to have a bag of chips and realize, man, I don't feel satisfied at all. You're going to go back again. So it's not your fault. Okay. So to wrap this all up, does moderation work? In my honest opinion, no. So when you're trying to fit chips in and processed foods in every single day, that may work for a certain percentage of the population. But I want to let you know that you're not a failure if you tried that and it didn't work for you. Okay. So any questions that you guys have around that stuff, feel free to comment down below. Would love to, chat with you guys and yeah, ask yourself those questions, right? When you watch this on replay, ask yourself, did this work? And was I able to fit things in moderation? Was I able to be successful long-term? If you weren't, because of the stuff you've been told, right? My family told me the same thing. Well, you could have whatever you want in moderation. If that were true, I wouldn't have gotten to 300 pounds because I don't know how to do moderation. And chances are you don't either. All right. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. If it was, please comment down below. It encourages me to keep doing them and helping you guys out. So yeah, if you need anything, holler at me. And if not, I'll talk to you a little later. Bye. Let's see, Zoom. Turn off the Zoom.